Thank you.
I call Ian McKelvey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And just as I start the short contribution to this bill, I'm disappointed, I guess, that the Greens have taken an opposing view to this bill. They believe it's all being brought about as a result of the activities of one person. In fact, and Kelvin Davis supported this in his early contribution to this bill. This piece of legislation was probably necessary. It was triggered by the activities of one person, and as so often is the case, it's either a crooked person, a clever person, or just an ordinary person tripping up who causes legislation to come before this House. And this is no exception. The government since 2008 has worked very hard to ensure its agencies share information where relevant and useful. And this is just another case of there being significant advantage in agencies sharing information and making processes a whole lot easier for all of those agencies trying to enforce either legislation or enable people to come and go as they please. And it's the most essential part of what we do as a government, and I think we've got to some very good space with some of this sharing of information. I do accept that there's some risk in sharing information, and obviously the government as it moves through, or the select committee as it moves through this process, will ensure that all the safeguards possible have been put in place. And the bill itself includes built-in safeguards against inappropriate sharing by providing clear parameters for the circumstances in which that information can be shared. Alongside the existing privacy protections outlined in the Privacy Act, these parameters include limiting information that can be shared to identify information, and only certain named agencies can share that information in specific circumstances. I think that is a very good start to the safeguards that we need to ensure are in place to, I guess, protect those people. We've got to remember that these laws aren't being put in place on the whole to protect people who are perfect angels, and so we need to make sure that we deal appropriately with those people, because that then enables everyone else in the country to move about with a great deal more freedom than they previously have. And ironically, I think the ironic thing about, I guess, technology is that as we get more and more, or enable technology to participate in our regulatory environment, it actually frees up life for the rest of us. And customs, or our access through customs, for example, is a very good example of this. Some of us recently had the opportunity to visit Auckland Airport. We were on, I guess, an MPI more than customs agenda up there, but it was really very interesting. And despite the last speaker's assertions on border control and customs, they are not the laughingstock of the international community. In fact, our customs and border control are probably as good, if not better, than anywhere else in the world, and I think we should be very proud of them. This bill gives them, or will give them, just a little bit more horsepower when it comes to making sure that those people that we want to make sure are where we think they are where they are. So, Mr. Speaker, I have a great deal of pleasure in supporting this bill, and I look forward to the discussion in the Select Committee as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.